So much going on. I am very busy, and I have very little time to do the YouTubey thing and to do videos, etc. Hello, I'm Adam Paul Morgan. Thank you for clicking on to what is a vlogging Adam video where I talk about the this, what, the who, hars and the general what's been going on. Well, I've been very busy man. Now, of course, people who watch the vlogging Adam videos on a regular basis will know my previous job had just been made redundant. The whole business is going into liquidation administration. In other words, it's going up there with Ask Jeeves and Blockbuster Video. Bye. So, I've been very busy, haven't had time to do any videos at all apart from this one. I'm going to try and cram so much into a tiny little video, and I'm going to try and do it in just one take. Yeah, time is precious. Moving on. Okay, so basically a lot of people have been sending requests in for the top fives. Don't worry, you've not been forgotten about. I have got the actual top fives list and what actually is in that top five coming up very shortly, as and when I can get around to filming it. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about the top fives. They will be there, not to worry. Now, American Gods, what an absolute brilliant surreal program it is. It's one of those programs where if you're doing the washing up or you're doing some work and you have the television on the background and you can go, yeah, that's enjoyable. You can't with American Gods. No, you have to sit and watch the program. It is brilliant performed, and I've had to write the names down here. Ricky White, brilliant performance, and Ian McShane, fantastic. Ian McShane, you might remember him from the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean film. But moving on to that program, I've watched the first 2 episodes, by the way, and very impressed. Now, YouTube, I got a little bit of abuse recently, and I've questioned the person in particular of the abuse as well. Okay. People who leave comments, majority are very nice, which is good. Some are somewhat critical, which is completely fair enough. You know, I've had a lot of people say about the sound quality, which I'm trying my best to sort out. A lot of people saying about the sort of jumping images. Hopefully I've sorted that out and there's not an issue with that. But for someone to go on a review, and I've had people sort of challenge my opinion on a particular game, film or whatever, which is completely fair enough. That's what the comments are there for. But if you're just going into just to completely abuse someone on YouTube, that's just wrong, just completely wrong. And I was going to mention something back in Morse code, but I've completely forgotten the thing, and time is of the essence. But that Morse code will be used in further ado. Thank you. Moving on. This is a rubbish video. Just hit the dislike button now. Where am I? Oh yeah, in the UK, Father's Day is coming up in the very near future, and I've put some pictures on Twitter, etc., and noticed that a lot of particular sort of Father's Day products, you know, you got Best Dad, you got those Dad's Rock albums and everything like that. I've noticed that there's a lot of things with pictures of Darth Vader on, and sort of the writing Best Dad in the Galaxy, Best Dad in the Universe, etc. on the t-shirts and mugs and socks is always a classic one. I have to disagree with that one. Without giving too much of spoilers away, choppy hand, taking over the universe in some big dictatorship. Best Dad in the universe? I don't think so. Debate in comments below, but not be abusive. Okay, what else is happening today, in fact? Yes, it is the general election today. I don't want to go into politics too much, but I have made a decision of who I was voting for. I was umming and ahhing about, you know, which of the party I should vote for, until actually walking to the poll station, because I had to be out and about today. Someone actually tried to run me over. He was wearing one of these little stickers for vote this particular party, and he decides to run me over on the bike on the pavement and tries to knock me over. All I'm going to say is I'm a big guy to knock down. So that was my decision made of who I was voting for. Now, the thing is, the fact that I did vote should mean that anyone who didn't vote, and this is all elections of all sorts, you shouldn't really moan and groan, particularly to me, of who I'm voting for, because if you haven't voted, you don't really say anything. Okay, moving on to what is the sort of, oh yes, this is a big one. Now, I've just literally not long got off the phone for, and this particular guy. I have been for a particular interview. Let's just say it's a catering company. Now, this particular catering company, you would sort of expect the sort of standards to be up there and the sort of good hygiene amongst the people who are working with food, sort of fresh food in the preparation area, sort of in the open. And this is what the guy behind the counter was generally doing. Rubbing his nose on his work shirt. He wasn't wearing an apron, and it was just wrong, which put me off straight away. This is moments before I'm going in for an interview, and I've just come off the phone from the guy who wasn't happy with my feedback about the interview. By the way, I didn't get the job. Now, of course, moving on to what was the actual interview itself. Now, on Tuesday, the UK nation held a minute silence at 11 o'clock, and my interview was at 11 o'clock. Now, I've just got off the phone to the guy. You're going to have to bear with me on this one. And I did mention this in the sort of comments that I sent to the head house there. And he didn't actually mention this at all. He took his jacket off. And yet, the guy had only just got there, yet his shirt was unclean. And I thought, you work with food, mate. You need to be clean. You need to sort of have better standards of personal hygiene than that. Of course, moving on to what was next, to sort of on the radio in the background, was followed by, ladies and gentlemen, this is on the radio, this is, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be having a minute silence towards the victims of the sort of London attack the other day. We'll be holding this minute silence in memories of those affected by the attacks. Silence. This is what the guy does. So, Mr. Morgan, tell me about yourself. Absolutely gobsmacking. And I've actually been on sort of, when you go for an interview, you have to sort of do a bit of research into the company and the place that you're going to, and everything that I've read about this particular place has all been negative. I'm sorry, it's all negative. I have less negative comments in my little thing than that particular place. And to be honest, I probably would never eat in one of these places again. I can't tell you where or what or who or anything like that, but that's what happened in my experience. There we go, and I've shut my notepad trying to do this in one take, as I say. Okay, moving on to what is, of course, next week. I'm a gamer. I'm going to have to put gaming stuff into this video. I don't like putting gaming stuff into my vlogging Adam videos, but putting this into this sort of element of what's going on. E3 next week. Oh yeah, but this is the thing. Is there going to be much to be shown at E3 next week? We've had the big Call of Duty announcement thing, you know, sort of gameplay footage or whatnot, or trailers or whatever. We've had Far Cry 5, I believe. I can understand with Nintendo doing ARMS because that's only just around the corner for its actual release, so they're probably not going to show much of that at E3. But of course, they've done what they're going to do with the Pokemon. We had a Nintendo Pokemon Direct the other day that showed 2 games, which I've got to be honest, I'm not that particularly interested in. I know there's a lot of people who are interested in Pokemon, but from what I've read online, not that many people are excited. So we've already been shown quite a lot about what, you know, sort of games that you'd think were going to be at E3, but not necessarily quite there, unfortunately. But sort of to close off this wonderful thing, it has been a week of ups and downs, mainly rejections because I'm just honest, I like to think. But there we go, on the old job fronting thing. But let's just leave it with this. It was on Twitter the other day about Batman and Catwoman. We know, well I know, I didn't, it was probably out there, what Batman done to Catwoman. But I don't know what her answer is, and I'm probably gonna guess yes. I don't know, but I'm probably gonna guess yes. And I think I know why. Because he's Batman. I'm Adam Paul Morgan. I do apologise for how rubbish this particular video is, but I'm a very, very busy man. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Adam Paul Morgan. Have a good one and ta-ra a bit.